In our chemistry class at school, we're doing a project called Genius Hour, and it's basically picking a topic that you're interested in and building a project out of it.
Yeah, so for our project, we decided to make a robotic fish named the Cudicam, and its purpose was to safely observe marine life and to go places where our scuba divers can't go. One example of where our scuba divers can't go is the Dead Sea because the saltwater content is too high. So instead of our scuba divers observing marine life, we could actually use a robotic fish that can do the same purpose, but it's more safe.
At the beginning of our project, we were required to find someone that inspired us or that could help us with our project. And we came across a professor named Dr. Zhao, and he basically gave us some tips on how to build our fish.
Yeah, so one tip he told us to do was to 3D print the body because it will save a lot of time.
What would control our whole fish, so the computer system in it, I guess you could say, would be the Arduino Mini, and it would control a camera and a motor inside the fish.
Yeah, so the type of motor that we were going to use was the servo motor, which is like a little tiny motor that you put in the back of the fish to make it go forward, backwards, right, left, all that. So.
The camera we were going to use would be one out of like an RC car because it's small enough and it would be waterproof.
Very tiny. And we were going to put it in the eyes of the fish, which would have been pretty neat.
We would also find some way to make an app to connect to this fish so you wouldn't have to hook it up to a computer to get the videos off of it.
Yeah, and we also, so of course we didn't make the fish, but we were going to make it. We just ran out of time. But Lucy's going to tell you some experiments that we were going to do.
Yes, so like I said before, Dr. Pugtail did some experiments. He made a fish as well. That's where we got all of our tips from. And his experiment was basically putting a robotic fish in water with a tank full of fish and seeing how they would react to it. So what we would do is try to recreate that experiment, but instead we would have the camera in there and we wouldn't have to observe it manually. We would just have the fish that would observe the reactions.
Yeah, and another thing kind of that we were thinking about is saying, because the scuba divers go out and observe the marine life, and the fish could act differently when there's a big camera pointing at their face, rather than a little tiny fish swimming up to them. So I mean there could be different ways to observe marine life as well. So it's not just making it safer. You can also observe differently than what our scuba divers observe.
Yeah. So that is basically our project.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for watching.
Give it a like.